Welcome to Dinner DeeAs, our ideas for your dinner. I'm Jeff Philbin. Today, we're going south of the border for chicken tinga, shredded chicken, and a tasty tomato sauce, which we'll be serving with the best ranch ever, plus a bonus side of VooDoo shrimp. Joining me to share his suggestions for your dinner tonight is Chef Eric Youngs, aka the VooDoo Chef.
Hey buddy, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you, man. Thanks for having me here today.
We're excited because where rock and roll meets flavor, that's the whole thing about you. You center the cooking around the 5 basic food groups, and this is from your website, and I don't know if they really are USDA approved, but we got butter, bacon, caffeine, carbs, and bourbon?
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Those 5 food groups, I mean, it's basically what I eat, you know. There's no vegetables on that list. There's, no fruit. But, reality is if I really ate like that, I probably wouldn't be around too long. So these are more indulging 5 food groups.
It's the indulgences. And our first recipe today is the chicken tinga. Now, this is a Mexican dish that maybe a lot of you at home have not heard of. So what is this dish?
So traditionally, chicken tinga would be a shredded chicken in a tomato sauce with a little bit of chipotle and adobo.
Okay.
So I used to eat a lot at a local restaurant that served chicken tacos, and I loved them so much, I had to replicate their recipe because we ate them so much. So we left out the adobo.
Okay.
It's one of those things, you eat so much of something, you kind of just get tired of it. So we left out the adobo. We call it chicken royale.
Okay.
Because it's the chicken of kings.
It's the chicken of kings. All right. So we're going to eat like kings today.
We started with a little bit of EVO.
Okay.
We added some diced onion and diced green pepper. And what we're doing, we're just going to get a little bit of that flavor cooked out of them. Mm-hmm. If you want to go full translucent, you can.
Okay.
If you want to push them caramelized, you can. It's going to make it a little sweeter at the end, but it's not traditionally what we would do. We're just going to go ahead and add in our garlic, and we're going to drop our chicken right in too. We don't even need to get that garlic worked around.
Okay. Now, what type of chicken are we working with here? Chicken breast, chicken thighs? What do we got here?
Easy, simple, boneless, skinless. You pick.
Okay. All right.
Now, once this is in, pretty simple. We're going to add our tomatoes. I'm using canned Rotel tomatoes with green chilies. It's going to kick it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you want to use diced tomatoes straight, you can.
Okay.
I can even go one easier for you. If you want to leave out the onions, the peppers, the tomatoes, you can use 2 cups of your favorite pico. For
Chef Eric's recipe for his chicken tinga, or rather his chicken royale, and his VooDoo shrimp, which we're making later, just go to our website, dinnerdeas.com, where we have all the ingredients and the directions ready to print. The quickest way to get there, just get your phone out, open the camera app, and point at the QR code, and a link is going to pop up. Now, what did you just add in there?
So I just added the VooDoo Red. That's our Southwest seasoning.
Okay.
Now, coming from the restaurant industry, Jeff, we want to have our cooks be able to fire and get food out quick, because that's what customers want. So we mix things in advance. And we created the VooDoo Chef's line out of all my former recipes from when I worked in industry, and we did it to raise money to send kids to school. So we took the kitchen and we gave it to kids, students to take home to try to sell to help raise some money to go to school. That's where it started.
That's awesome.
But now it's on the shelves and the company donates to our own foundation. If you don't have VooDoo Red, you can use your earthy, warm flavors.
So what types of flavors would be inside that seasoning then?
Right.
If someone wanted to make this at home and didn't have the opportunity, but a link is on our website, how would they be able to make kind of like
So if they didn't have VooDoo Red, we'd add the earthy warms, the chilies, the cumins, the paprikas, a little bit of ground garlic, a little bit of ground onion, salt, pepper, and you're rocking and rolling.
Okay.
So now that we got everything in, we're just going to bring it to a boil and reduce it to a simmer.
Okay.
Kind of like, when you're making rice or something like that. And what's going to happen is we're going to cook the flavor from the chicken is going to flavor the tomato. The flavor from the tomato is going to flavor the chicken. We're going to stew this much like a chili, so all the flavors become one, and we're going to cook it down to the shred point of the chicken.
I love it.
But we need some of that BRE.
BRE. Now, what is BRE?
BRE is the best ranch ever.
The best ranch ever.
The best.
Okay,
yeah.
BRE. All right.
I challenge anybody. We'll have a ranch off. You got 2 cups of heavy duty mayonnaise. Gotta be heavy duty. We want our ranch to have some viscosity to it. We want it to be thick.
Okay.
And so in the restaurants, we use the heavy duty mayonnaise. 1 cup of half and half.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people use buttermilk. I like half and half because of the fat
I was
content.
going to say, like that's almost like a departure. So
the buttermilk brings a little bit of acid to the game.
Yeah.
So we're just going to reincorporate that acid.
Okay.
We're going to add half a squeeze of lime.
Okay.
Because I absolutely love the flavor of lime. I use lime in everything, whether it calls for lemon or lime. It's definitely lime.
it's lime.
And then we're going to go to my newest product, Zing.
Now, what are some of the spices and seasonings that you're going to see inside that?
You know, Jeff, the beauty of ranch is it truly is just a buttermilk dressing.
Yeah.
And you can add your own flavors to create your own version of ranch. Yeah, there's cayenne, there's some pepper, a little bit of salt. And I want you to know, we talk about the 5 food groups, but I did bring you vegetables to dip inside that
I mean,
ranch.
you have to have something to go with it.
And you can use ranch on anything.
And it sounds like it's going to go into something else a little bit
So
later.
we're going to use this later on top of our chicken tinga to calm down some of those earthy, warm flavors, cream it out. We're going to make bowls and tacos.
Can't wait, because while our chicken tinga simmers, we're taking a break. When we come back, the VooDoo chef shares his recipe for VooDoo shrimp ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Today, we're cooking with the VooDoo chef himself, Eric Youngs. Before the break, we started on Chef Eric's take on chicken tinga. It's his chicken royale. He sauteed the green bell peppers, onions, and garlic, added the chicken and a can of diced tomatoes, along with water and seasoning, and it's still simmering away here. And it smells absolutely fantastic.
I'm glad, buddy.
And we also had the time to make the best ranch ever. Real subtle name there, my friend, the VRE. You know,
Yeah.
best ranch ever here. But I have to admit, it lived up to the taste because we mixed mayonnaise, half and half, lime juice, and the seasonings. And before we get to any of that, we have another dish we're cooking up, which is this VooDoo shrimp dish. So, looks like you're already starting.
Absolutely, I had to get going,
You
man.
had to go. You had to go.
It's the restaurant in me, you know, you got to fire, right?
You got to
So-
just fire. Exactly.
So way back when, I think it was a Thursday, I got my first opportunity to write my own recipe for a restaurant.
Right on.
And it still lives today. We call it VooDoo Shrimp.
Okay.
So we were creating kind of like a New Orleans fish camp, and we wanted to create a sautéed shrimp dish that you could pick up and eat as an appetizer. And so VooDoo Shrimp was born. What we started with, we had a little bit of EVO.
Okay.
And we added some celery and some onions. And that's what you smell.
And it's hot pan. You want to get this pan hot to it there? Because I'm starting to see it really
We're-
starting to go.
We're on fire. And once those start to lose their color or gain color, we're going to go ahead and add in our shrimp.
Okay.
And so, real simple, we're just going to start sauteing these down. Now, these are what we call easy peel, and I love them. They still have the shell on them, but they've been split down the back and the vein's gone.
Chef Eric's recipe for his VooDoo shrimp is on our website, along with a link to his seasonings at dinnerdeas.com. Scan the QR code to get there.
We're going to go ahead and add some whole garlic.
Okay.
It's just going to flavor through. And,
So we just went whole garlic cloves on this one here. We just
if you want to mash them, if you want to use minced, it's the beauty. I added more garlic, but whole clove.
Okay.
So we could get a little bit transfer.
Okay.
If we smash it, it just increases the surface area.
Yeah.
And allows it to hit that sauce a little bit faster. So our shrimp are almost where we want them. So we added a little bit of tequila here. You know, when we originally wrote this recipe, we wrote it with wine. We wrote it with jug wine.
Okay.
And you can use beer. You can use tequila. This is another one of those things, you know, the flavor profile's up to you. Here we go. We're going to add the lime to go right with that tequila. We're going to add a little Worcestershire.
I love it.
We're going to add some thyme. Now you see that tequila is starting to evaporate out. Our
Yep.
shrimp's finished cooking. We're going to go ahead and throw our lime zest in to brighten it up. And here's where it gets fun, Bubba. As this is reducing down, we're getting ready to add our barbecue butter.
Okay.
So barbecue butter it's a maitre d' butter, you know, kind of like butchers have their own sausage flavors and
Sure.
things like that. You go to a fancy restaurant and you get that bread service, that maitre d' butter is going to be a little different every place you go.
Yeah.
So this is my maitre d' butter, a garlic citrus butter.
Okay.
And we add VooDoo Chef Black to it.
Okay.
And that makes it what we call a barbecue butter. Not to be confused with barbecue sauce, but a barbecue butter. And this is kind of something traditional to that New Orleans Cajun Creole cooking.
Okay, so what other ingredients, if someone wasn't able to get that seasoning, what would they be trying to replicate with it?
So if you want to make blackening seasoning, man, you got chili powder, you got cumin, you got cayenne, you got paprika,
So
you
again,
got
we're
pepper,
starting
you got
again with
salt.
just all those deep.
Yeah, you're talking 7 to 11 of those earthy notes. And
Bring them out of the pantry, folks. Bring them out of the pantry.
But why?
But why?
When you can just grab VooDoo Chef Black.
Does it come with this whole studded, like this literally? I don't even know how to hold. Like, I gotta go this way. I mean, like, which I mean.
So that is our classic rock and roll seasoning case there, and there's only 2 of those in existence. They were made for me by a company down south because, we think food should be overindulged and overproduced, kind of like great music and great rock and roll.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. We're going to mount our butter, and we're just going to take all the barbecue butter at once, and we're just going to start swirling it into this sauce. We kind of just want to get the fats to combine so it's more saucy rather than just oil sitting on top of the pan here.
Now, a recipe for that butter is also on our website, DeeAs.com.
Now, what else is on that website, Jeff, is the recipe for my Cuban bread.
Okay.
And so this isn't complete without the Cuban bread, which
So, I
we
mean, you're
have in
giving
the
recipes
oven.
for bread and butter and the VooDoo. I mean, come on, this is everything now.
It is.
All right.
You want to grab the bread? We'll tie this up. Now, while you're grabbing that bread, Jeff, I want to let you know, at my house, this is a family meal service. And what I mean by that is we pretty much pick up the saute pan.
Okay.
And we walk it right to the table. And we would set it right in the middle of the table. We would take the crusty bread, just kind of lay it right in the pan.
Oh, I love it.
So let's get you a shrimp in here.
Okay.
Because there's actually a special way you got to eat this too.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to grab one. So you're going to pick it up by the tail that's still on there. Now these are hot, so it's real easy to remember. Suck them, peel them, dip them, eat them. You're going to suck out all that flavor. So you get all that barbecue butter, you get that tequila.
Oh, yeah.
Now we want to take this and peel all that skin off. Leave your tail on. So suck it, peel it. Now we're going to dip it back in that sauce. And we're going to eat that shrimp. Oh, don't chef kiss yet.
You can't go
Because
wrong.
it's time to break bread.
It is time to break bread.
So-
That's my favorite part about it.
The crusty bread is here to mop up all the sauce. Now the chef kiss.
A VooDoo chef kiss, my friends. That is killer right there. Wow.
VooDoo shrimp.
That is exactly it. When we come back, our chicken tinga should be ready to eat, and we'll show you how to make it all into a meal ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Today, we're joined by VooDoo chef Eric Youngst. He's been sharing some delicious dinner ideas, and before the break, in mere minutes, we made his VooDoo shrimp. We sauteed celery and onion. We added the shrimp, the garlic, the lime, a little tequila because, hey, why not, A little bit of Worcestershire sauce and his custom barbecue butter. And then we sucked, peeled, dipped, and ate them. And before that, we start on Chef Eric's take on chicken tinga, a chicken royale. It's green peppers, onions, garlic, chickens, tomatoes, along with beautiful seasonings and that water there to bring it all together. And this looks like a fancy spread.
Well, we got to eat that chicken tinga, right? And the way I like to do it, I like to make it interactive. I like everybody to experience it the way they want to experience it. So what we did, we created a little bit of lay. We got cabbage, we got pico, we got cilantro, my personal favorite. We got some cheese.
This looks like a lot of work to get out here.
No, man. I mean, if you don't want to make the pico, you can buy pico from the produce section. I like people to have the choice between making a bowl or making tacos. So I gave you a bowl, and we made some rice, so you can line the bottom of your bowl with your rice, and you can build a bowl however you want to build it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to start building some tacos.
Nice.
So I've got some little street corn tortillas here.
What's the first step? What's the first order to this whole madness here?
Well, the beauty is whatever you want to do. We say all the time, you do you and I'll do me. As long as you doing you doesn't interfere with me doing me, we are all good.
That is the truth.
And that's the beauty. I mean, I like everything. So you're going to find a little bit of everything on mine. And the way you build, obviously, you hear it all the time. It's going to change the flavor. Play around, build them different, taste the difference between them, and see where it ends. And don't forget those jalapenos there, my friend.
Oh, well, come on now. I got to go for them. You know, I had a Ziploc bag full of them in high school, and ever since then, I could like eat spicy stuff. That was like literally the joy of it all. I just kind of went all in.
Well,
So yes, I am going to go with all things.
I am all about cilantro, and if you notice, I left the stems on my cilantro. Not the full stem, but I think it brings a little different texture to your food as well. And I absolutely love it. If you couldn't tell by the amount I put on my tacos.
I love it. Let's go a little more here. I'm
Yep.
going all out. You want any of the cabbage?
Sure, man. A little bit of everything, right?
That's the spirit.
And then you know what we end with. Whether it's a bowl or a taco, you got to end with the BRE.
The BRE.
Best
Bring it back.
ranch ever. Kind of like a comedian doing a callback, right?
We're going a little bit of lime.
We're making a mess here, Jeff.
A little light on the jalapenos. You got anything else with that taco there?
Right? A little bit of
A
everything.
little bit of everything. All right, let's try this whole best ranch ever here.
Yes,
And see, and you know, another great thing about this, it's coming back out with the squirt bottle, guys. Okay, this is one that like literally you can get off of Amazon. They're absolutely,
Is the tip too skinny?
no, it's perfect here. Look at that. Look how pretty that looks.
Right? And then, you know, if we were doing the chef thing, we'd be like way up here doing the John Pollock, but, you know, we'll keep it clean for
Keep
the
it
show,
clean.
right?
We'll keep it clean. Because
And,
that's how you get it done, folks.
That's it, man. I hope these are in your future, buddy.
I hope so. Because to make this chicken tinga or the chicken royale for your dinner tonight or the VooDoo shrimp from earlier, get the recipes at our website with all the ingredients and the directions at dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code to get there. And while you're there, send us a picture if you make anything from the show or a request if there's something you want us to make, because that's what Marianne did from Inverness. That's the real name of Baltimore Barbie 1, who asked us for a duck recipe, which Chef Jonathan Rodriguez shared, and Marianne said it was like butter. Marianne, glad you liked it. Thanks so much for watching, and that looks absolutely fantastic. When we come back, we take this idea for dinner for a spin and taste test it ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. Joining me to share his suggestions for your dinner tonight is Chef Eric Youngs, aka the VooDoo Chef. If you just tuned in, you missed us make and eat his VooDoo shrimp. It was so quick and delicious, but we have yet to try the chicken royale, his spin on chicken tinga here. All right, I got the bowl, I got the tacos. Which one you want, my friend?
Dude, I want some shrimp. These are my absolute favorite. You know, you and I
Deal.
off air were talking about this recipe's from 1995, and it still holds true today. So, you know, I'm used to being at my house. I was just digging in, so don't mind me. I'll grab a couple. So you know, you got the chicken royale, as we call it. It's a traditional chicken tinga without the adobo, the chipotle and adobo. We didn't want to add too much heat, and we didn't want the smoky flavor. So you have the chicken in there, but you got those earthy, warm notes. Believe it or not, some people still find it a little spicy. Everybody's different.
Everyone's different, but for me, it's that jalapeno that I'm getting, so I can adjust that.
Right. We do put jalapenos on top. I built the tacos. This is my preference. Everybody can do it how they want to do it, and that's the beauty of it.
I love it.
And then we cool it down with the best ranch ever.
Very cool, because when he's not cooking for you and me, Chef Eric is not only the lead instructor for the Hillsborough Culinary Academies at Irwin Technical College, but also started the VooDoo Chef Foundation, which has awarded over $100,000 in culinary scholarships to students in needs and feeds over 3,000 families annually. And two of the success stories are Ariana and Aiden.
Ariana and Aiden. I met them when they were juniors in high school, so 15, 16 years old. They entered what's called VooDoo Underground, a competition where we challenge students to cook with our seasoning. They came up with a dirty birria taco. Now, dirty is our #1 selling product, an espresso rub. You and I have been down this road.
Yep.
And they took the espresso rub and made a dirty birria taco, and they did this before the birria craze. Now they're everywhere. Wow. They actually came in second in this competition, but Ariana later entered this in our high school recipe challenge, where she won full tuition scholarship. They've since both graduated, and Aiden is now at Cooper's Hawk up in New Tampa, and Ariana is working out at Roca, one of our Michelin-recognized restaurants here.
How cool is that to see the success story of some of your students go on to such incredible restaurants like that, and knowing that, hey, you had a role in putting them in that path, and now they've got a career, and now they've got a life.
You know, I say all the time, I stopped caring what people thought about my salmon dish, my steak dish a long time ago. And I transitioned into education and felt the need to just start helping these young folk find their way. And not necessarily just in culinary. We want to help them find their way. And that's the beauty of our foundation. We'll help them find in industry, out of industry. We just want to grow people. And then as you see them come up, we've had the official caterer of the New York Stock Exchange. We're happy to say he was ours. Pastry chef at Apple, we're happy to say she was ours. And we could go on and on. And you know, I sleep a lot better at night now than I did back when I was trying to manage that bottom line in a restaurant.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome, and just a beautiful testament to the success stories. Thanks again to Chef Eric. Go to DinnerDeas.com for the recipes we've been making today, plus a link to Chef Eric's website where you can find out more about the VooDoo Chef Foundation and support them by buying his VooDoo seasonings. Just scan that QR code to get there. I'm Jeff Dobin. See you next time with more Dinner Diaz.